Ladies, contain yourselves. Hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, and that you are having a great day. And in today's video, I'd like to sit back in my very squeaky chair, relax, and have a conversation with all of you guys about demand, and have a little follow-up conversation to my video from the other day, where in that video I had talked about how the rarest and most expensive items don't really have a place in a market that doesn't have sufficient demand for them. Well, in today's video, I'd like to look at the opposite end of the equation, the actual demand of the supply-demand equation. You see, all of the demand in the world doesn't matter if supply doesn't exist to satiate it. That's the video. Woohoo! Crazy stuff. But it's important to talk about the fact that supply of the supply-demand thing is very important because there are different levels to what causes supply shortages, okay? There's a few things to take into account when you're looking at something that might be in low supply compared to demand, and why its price may be rising, and more critically, evaluate whether or not something's really being scalped or whether or not something's just old enough to rise in value, okay? Pokemon fans in particular, and One Piece fans and some other card game fans, for the last year, they've been very familiar with the scarcity of newer products. There's been a huge hype, bull market freak out over newer Pokemon stuff and now new One Piece stuff where prices are accelerating sky high, and actually getting a hold of product is difficult, and there's been a lot of less than satisfied customers online because of this situation. And there's a lot of finger pointing when it comes to this. There's a lot of, it's the evil investors, it's the evil scalpers, it's the vile collectors, or the stores, or even the Pokemon company itself who's at fault for there not being enough product to go around. And the simple fact of the matter is, over such a short time scale, the primary culprit for a lack of product to satiate demand, especially when you're looking at a time scale of a year, the primary culprit is nobody. Surprise! It's nobody. Nobody's really at fault for that. You see, when demand increases, when there's a lot of attention given to a new set or even a group of sets, looking at you, Prismatic Evolutions into Destined Rivals, it's kind of only natural that people who see the opportunity to collect cool things butt heads with the people who see an opportunity to make money, who butt heads with the stores who are just trying to survive, who butt heads with the Pokemon company not being able to print enough product to satiate this sudden upswell of demand. Nobody's really at fault here because this situation is more or less just a kind of natural outcome of a sudden influx of attention, money, and demand for newer product. And I know that there's a lot of people who like to provide all kinds of very interesting and creative solutions to the situation, ranging from such things as, just force stores to sell at MSRP regardless of what their overhead is, to gatekeeping anyone from the hobby who hasn't been playing for a certain period of time, to forcing collectors to liquidate their collections so that the players can get a hold of the cards. I've seen a lot of interesting opinions and takes online in the last few weeks. Crazy stuff. But the simple fact of the matter is that this situation will naturally resolve itself with time. The Pokemon company, or the One Piece company, when this becomes a big issue for them, in time, enough product will be printed to satiate demand as a result of, again, natural changes. Some people will leave the collecting scene, some people will stop playing Pokemon, some stores will finally be able to get the product in, and sooner or later there will be enough to go around, and then some, which will lead to the opposite situation, which we will discuss when that happens. And when that happens, people will be quick to blame the Pokemon company for printing too much, destroying their collection value, all that jazz, but again, that is a video for another day. All right. Now, when it comes to older product, sometimes you'll look back, and it doesn't really matter what card game it is, but let's use Magic the Gathering, for instance. You'll look back at a Magic product from back in the day, and you'll see that one product released in 2014 is $200 a box, and another product released in 2014 is $500 a box. I don't have exact numbers because I don't actually think there's any product from 2014 that is $500 a box. Maybe Dragons of Tarkir? That was a pretty good set. No, I don't think so. Anyway, people will look at these older sets and see them rising in price, and there will be, especially if they're newer to the hobby, there will be a lot of that same knee-jerk, finger-pointing, reactionary takes. Oh, it's evil investors and evil collectors who are scalping the hell out of these products, making them unavailable for people. But the fact of the matter is, yes, there are people who are going to buy older product just to sit on it, just to appreciate it in time. That's absolutely a thing that happens, and it's absolutely a thing that I personally think is kind of a smart move. Why do I think it's a smart move? Simple. For most card games, old product, especially old sealed product, tends to be a pretty good, stable way to store your money if you are interested in storing your money in a TCG. Remember, this is not a financial channel, blah, 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 blah. Never take financial advice from a crazy uncle in his garage, right? But a lot of people tend to agree that storing your money in sealed product is a good thing, and older sealed product that is out of print is a good thing because companies have no incentive to go back and reprint old product that has rotated out of modern sets. Standard for Magic and Pokemon, and power level relevancy for Yu-Gi-Oh! Fun stuff. Even card games that have effectively unlimited print runs, like Flesh and Blood, you don't really see LSS going back to something like, I don't know, Tales of Aria, for instance, and reprinting it, because a lot of the heroes from that set aren't really playable thanks to their Living Legend system. So a lot of these companies don't have incentives to go back and reprint old sets. It doesn't really happen. And after about 2 years, after a set has existed for about 2 years, it stops being printed, for the most part. For the most part, If someone brings up 151, I'm going to have an ulcer. For the most part, once a set is about 2 years old, definitely after 3 years, you stop seeing new product enter the market, and you start seeing what's out there dry up. Slowly, but surely. People will start to pick up and accumulate or crack open or lose or destroy whatever sealed product that is out there, because what's out there is what's out there, and that's kind of it. So naturally, as just a byproduct of people opening it or buying to invest or having it fall out of the back of their truck, sealed product disappears from the market over a period of time, and once enough time passes, yes, obviously, as a direct result of that, prices rise. Nobody is at fault. There's no evil cabal of scalpers who get around in a circle every Saturday night and say, "Ah yes, today we shall raise the price of Steam Siege, the worst Pokemon box ever." I'm going to be wrong. There's actually going to be a group of guys who does that, but for all intents and purposes, there's no crazy maliciousness here. It's just a matter of fact that market forces have great sway over market prices. And there's a lot of things that go into determining exactly how much a product is going to be worth. And for better or worse, you can see how market demand can influence prices, even across games. Look at, I don't know, name a 4-year-old box from Yu-Gi-Oh! And a 4-year-old box from Pokemon, and I almost guarantee that the Pokemon box will have exponentially shot up in price in comparison to its MSRP versus the Yu-Gi-Oh! Box, which might be under MSRP, all things considered. Demand and genuine interest and the belief that there might be value and the interest in collecting the cards in the set, there's a bunch of factors that can go into raising the price of older products, and there's a lot of factors that can go into raising the price of newer products. And there's no villain, there's no bad guy in this situation. I know that there's a lot of people out there who like to get upset because they can't get a hold of the products they want, but the The important, if there's one thing you take from this video, okay? If there's one lesson you learn here, it's that there's no real bad guy in these situations. Yes, there can be individual bad faith actors who go to, I don't know, go to Target at midnight on restock day and just shovel an entire armful of ETBs into their product and walk out the store without paying. Those are thieves, right? But for the most part, there's no malicious intent when it comes to what causes prices to go up. And the inverse, there's no malicious intent when it comes to what prices go down, you know? The fact of the matter is, market demands will do what the market demand will do and will raise or lower box prices according to more or less what people are willing to pay for it at the given time. And that's the thing is, different times will lead to different levels of acceptance for what the basic product price should be. You'll find, especially in, again, let's compare Yu-Gi-Oh! To Pokemon, people are very willing to pay very high prices for Pokemon boxes, $200+ for some of these newer boxes that are still in print. These are boxes where new sealed boxes could hit the market any time, and people are willing to pay over $200 for them. Meanwhile, the same time period, the same in-print strategy with some genuinely cool collectible cards from Yu-Gi-Oh! You have boxes that people are unwilling to pay over $50 for. It's crazy. And like, I get the feeling like if you tried telling someone that there's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Box in print today that would be $100 in 3 years, you'd be sent to the guillotine. I think there is. I think there is at least one Yu-Gi-Oh! Box in print this year, last year, that could hit 100. Don't send me to the guillotine, please. But, you know, there's no... You don't need to think too hard about it. You just have to realize that if sealed box A is going up exponentially, it's because there's a lot of demand for it for one reason or another. There's a lot of different kinds of people who want it. And a good way to think about it is see new products as a slice of pie. Pokemon and One Piece right now, because I know that there's a lot of popularity for One Piece. Pokemon and One Piece they've just put out these delicious cinnamon apple pies with a honey glaze on top. They're absolutely delicious. And everybody wants a slice of that pie. So people are willing to do a lot and even pay a lot to get a slice of that pie. Yu-Gi-Oh! And Star Wars Unlimited have put out these fucking weird fudge-sickle pies. I don't know why you would make a fudge-sickle pie, but they've put them out there. Not a whole lot of people are interested in that fudge-sickle pie. So not a lot of people are willing to do a whole lot to get that pie. So it's going to sit there on the shelf a bit longer than the delicious cinnamon apple honey glazed pie. I just talked myself into wanting an apple pie. God damn it. Anyway, all I'm really trying to say in this video is, again, there's no malice here. There's no evil villains behind the scenes trying to raise box prices. It's just supply will go up and down based a lot on demand, but also based on companies' printing capacity. Some companies will be really good at being on top of print allocations. Others will be caught completely by surprise by the sudden surge of demand. And that's not a bad thing. It's just business. It's just a natural repercussion of being a company that can't flash print whatever the hell they want. You know, printing takes time. Printing and producing sets takes time, and they have to kind of anticipate how much demand is going to be out there. A lot of the stuff that went into print in 2025, those print orders were put in place way before the release dates of those products, okay? They had no way of anticipating how much demand would be there for a lot of those sets. But I digress. I'm rambling. I am losing my marbles in this conversation, so thank you guys so much for sticking with me to the end. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you agree with me or disagree with me. I always read you guys' comments. I love it because the algorithm loves it, and what makes the algorithm happy makes your uncle happy. Beyond that, check out the Discord, check out the Patreon, and that's really kind of it, I think. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.